And thank you for tuning in to the Self Checkout Show. I am your host, Pastor Will. Glad to see you. And along with my lovely co hosts, my sisters, Dr. Nancy Murphy and Ms. Crystal Love. Good evening, ladies.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello.
How y'all do?
We are great. How are you?
I'm good, good. Glad to be back on. We had a few Mondays off within the past month or so, holidays and
Hallelujah.
celebrations and stuff.
Yeah, and stuff.
And I think we'll see. We might take next Monday off.
Say so.
For the
'Cause of
fourth, right?
holiday.
Yeah.
So
Unless we just all sit together and say hi.
You know what? That might work. That might work for a few
Share a
might
rib
work.
bone or two, a burnt hot dog.
that might work for a few minutes.
That might work just for a few minutes, not long.
Right.
A few minutes. It might-
Let's see what everybody's doing for the holiday, what they're cooking.
Yeah, we can do that. I think we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. So we're glad to be here with you guys. Of course, to those that are viewing by the way of Facebook, YouTube Live, Twitter, and everywhere else we are, Spotify. Thank you for tuning in. We are extremely glad to have you with us tonight. Please, wherever you're watching, won't you please leave a comment and let us know you're watching and where you are watching from, what city and what state. And just leave a comment here if you're on Facebook watching. Let us know that you are here. And by all means, please share this live show. We got to get into our main topic tonight, and I promise we're going to get into it tonight because the last time we were on,
you better not make promises you can't keep.
Because you never know.
Else happened when we were on last time. The show took a turn, but it was for the best because it was definitely what was needed. And so tonight we're going to talk about blended families and what discipline looks like for the children in those families. And it's a lot to unwrap there. So we're going to talk about that tonight. But before we do, some say it was simply the worst. Last night, Patti LaBelle gave a powerful and joyful performance in tribute to Tina Turner at the BET Awards, even if she couldn't quite remember all of the lyrics.
I can't talk about my auntie. I can't talk about my auntie.
I'm not talking about my godmother. That's my godmama. I'm not talking about her. It's all right with me.
It wasn't her song. So.
Hey, let me read this article here, okay? Patti hit the stage to pay her respects to Tina Turner, who died May 24th. And LaBelle, she sang Tina Turner's song, Simply the Best, but she forgot the words during a few moments. And she says, I'm trying, y'all. And she said after humming a few notes before hitting the chorus the first time. When she forgot the lyrics a second time, she said, oh, Lord, before singing a couple more words of the song and then saying, whatever, I can't see the words to the song's tune. I'm trying, y'all, she told the crowd again. Now, what happened was, in another article that I read, she said that the crowd had got so hyped and excited that many of them were jumping in front of the teleprompter and she could not see. So that is a forgivable offense. However, y'all, this is Tina Turner, one of her greatest hits. And Patti don't know the words to this. Everybody know the words to Simply the Best.
No, all I know is Simply the Best, better than all the rest. And Patti will always be the queen. So I mean, you know, right.
Patti doesn't have to know her songs.
Period.
I mean, she got her own array of songs.
She should have known that.
No, all we know is the chorus too. Simply the Best.
They should have been
all right with the rest, and she could have danced her way through the rest of it.
I know that's right. I'm not going. I'm not going.
Period.
I'm a real Tina fan. I know the words.
I'm a real Patty fan. So
and we know her words. Yeah, we know her words.
It wasn't her song, so she should have did a little bit better. That's all.
Well, she said she was sorry. She gave y'all the best she could. It is what it is,
and that's all.
She was still the reigning queen. Next.
Hey, let me tell you right now. In my eyes, before last night, Patti LaBelle could do no wrong,
and still can't
until last night.
Baby, and she still can't. She still can't.
I ain't got nobody on here that's gonna help me.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. And if they are, we're gonna block them tonight.
Was simply the worst, but nevertheless,
she's always the best. Top tier.
We love you, Patty. We know you're 80 years old. We're gonna let you slide. Just don't do
At
that
this
no
point,
more.
Tina don't know the words to her song. I mean, come on now.
Tina,
she ain't sung them in a while either.
You know what? I'm just not gonna leave it.
There you go. See, that's what you get.
If you wasn't the co-host, I'd block you right now.
Where you at? Listen, my daddy was a Tina Turner fan. That was his top. She was top tier. She's still surpassed Patty.
She, for me, was my number 2. Patty was number 1, and still is, honestly. Yeah. I think for me, I got Patti LaBelle, Tina Turner, Gladys Knight, Aretha Franklin, and probably Anita Baker.
I'm not sure how Gladys surpassed Aretha, but I'm gonna go with it.
Oh no, not in any particular order.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Not in no particular order. No.
Oh, cleared up. Now.
Okay.
Those are probably my top 5.
Okay.
My top 5 female artists of all time. I love.
I'm sorry. What was the last 2 after Gladys? After Aretha?
Anita Baker. You know I love her.
Anita Baker.
All hail the princess.
But you know, Anita been in the news too lately.
Anita been acting up too.
Yeah.
We're gonna give her a few passes too, you know.
She got a pass. Yeah. But she been acting up.
She been acting like a diva.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she is.
Off her tour.
Listen, we're talking about the people that have paved the way. So
well, okay. Whatever. I guess we're gonna give her a pass too then.
We are.
We gonna give her, she's not in my top 5, but I'm gonna give her a pass.
She's not in your top 5.
Who are your top 5?
That's my question.
I like a lot of even further back. I like Nancy Wilson. I like Patti LaBelle. I like, of course, Aretha. I'm not a big fan of Gladys. She's okay. I would have to determine who the top 5 would be, but Gladys and Anita didn't make it.
Nancy Wilson.
You just said Anita.
I said Anita didn't make it. I said Anita's not in my top 5. Gladys, Nancy Wilson, and Patty right now. Not Gladys, I'm sorry. Aretha, Patty, and Nancy Wilson at this point.
What about Tina?
Well, you know, Aretha is the queen.
I like Tina.
She always will be.
I like
go
Tina.
Too far now. Aretha, all right, but for me, Patty LaBelle.
She's the queen of soul.
Patti LaBelle is the queen. Period. Hands down. I don't care. Crystal already knows how I feel about Patty.
I love Patty, but now Aretha is the queen every single song. I know every single word.
Shoes off.
When I tell you, take me to a concert to see Patty, and I'm crying.
I would love to see her in concert. I never have.
Oh, I've seen her 3 times.
She gives a great concert.
Probably Whitney would definitely be in my top 5. She would
I can't forget about Whitney.
Yeah,
definitely Whitney.
Whitney would probably have to replace Gladys in my top 5.
Okay, that's rounding out.
Well, if we're putting Whitney up there, well, here we go. I actually like Celine Dion.
I do like
love
Celine
her.
Dion.
Love her.
So those would be my bottom 2, like as newbies. But definitely Patty. I would go Tina. I love Tina Turner and Anita Baker, and then Whitney and Celine.
Okay, that's good stuff. I might have to post it on Facebook. What are your?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Top 5.
And guess what? And we could talk about that with hot dogs
on the holiday
with our hot dogs.
I like it.
See,
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. We'll do that. That. So everybody, we're giving Miss Patty
a pass.
Sweet Potato Pie LaBelle a pass for last night.
That is so funny.
We gonna give her a pass for last night. We love you, Patty. In other disturbing news, you guys may have heard about this. Those of you that are viewing, check this out. Just 2 days before he shot his wife and mother of their 3 children at the Hampton Inn in Macomb, Mississippi, last Wednesday, a 25-year-old Louisiana pastor declared to his friends and family on Facebook that he was flawed but still favored by God. His post said, I quote, I may not be a perfect man, but I'll always be a family man, end quote. This is Pastor Danny Prenell Jr. He is or was the senior pastor of Bright Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church. In a June 19th post included with a picture of his smiling wife, Gabrielle, and their 3 young children. Get this, on June 21st, investigators say that this pastor, who celebrated his first anniversary as pastor of that church in January, shot his wife twice at the hotel before shooting himself once that afternoon. Macomb Police Chief confirmed that the couple's children were with them at the time of the shooting. They are now placed in CPS custody.
That's so sad.
I'll stop reading the article there. This is rather disturbing to hear. Now, that was posted, that was last week when that was posted. Now, let me give you an update on this that I read a little while ago while I was at work. This attempt was a murder-suicide gone wrong. It was an epic fail on his part because, and thank God, the wife, after being shot twice, is in stable condition.
Oh, that's good.
Made it. Good.
That's good.
And what's even better news, this clown
It's alive.
lived. Now, I'll tell you why that's good news. Because now he has been arrested and he is currently in jail.
Very good.
They charged him with aggravated domestic violence and one other lower charge, but they did say that more charges are to come. And I hope that it includes attempted murder because that's exactly what he tried to do.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have called him a clown, though. However, yeah, all of those charges are justified. Did they say, or did he say why?
If he did, they haven't released that yet. Hey, Tam, how you doing? Mrs. O'Shea Bryant. If he has given a statement, they have not released that yet. As of today, they haven't released it. But it was known that through old police records and court documents that he has a history of being violent with his wife.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a pretty bad case. And I'm just going to, and we're not taking this left like we did last time, but I'm going to say this.
Okay.
Especially to you women out there, it happens to men too, but more so to women.
Yeah.
That are in these physically abusive relationships. Find a way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to get out. Because
I would say, see, here we go. I would say that's important that they know their worth, that's not love. Love is not supposed to hurt. And so a lot of times when we tell these women or women that are in those situations to find a way out, first they have to come to themselves and realize that what they're dealing with, what they're experiencing, is not healthy and is not normal.
They have
So
to make
that's
up
what
their mind.
get to first, is that they understand that it is not healthy, it is not normal, they deserve so much more, or you deserve so much more, and then open your mouth. Be okay opening your mouth and telling someone, help, I need some help. And we've got to do a better job of listening, right, and paying attention, because again, sometimes they don't know who to talk to, who not to talk to, who to trust, who not to trust, and sometimes they really have been brainwashed to believe and or manipulated to believe that it's love, that it's a form of love. So you all know me and my favorite word, there are layers even to that.
And it may even start before then, depending on what they saw in their house as a child. Did their mother stay?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Because you know what? We talked about this. I think it was concerning having a stash, and we laughed about that for a good while.
We did.
About what people, how they were raised and what they saw as they were being raised. And if they saw mama do this, then I'm going to do this because it worked for mama. But in this case, I don't know. I think that because we see certain things on movies and stuff like that, I don't know what happened, but we see older couples, like when they do flashbacks from back in the day, we see some husbands being abusive to their wives, and they stay, they don't leave.
Yes.
Good evening, Kimmy. Thank you for joining us. Tam said the church has condoned abuse. Nope, we're not doing that.
And I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you typed that, and I'm glad you went back to that, because I'm going to say that that is not true. The church itself has not condoned abuse. It's the people in the church who have made abuse okay. We've got to stop putting everything, because when we start saying the church has condoned it, now we're putting it on God. God never condoned abuse.
That's correct.
So it was the people that are in there, miseducated, uninformed individuals have approved and authorized, if you will, abuse. And so that's where the problem becomes. People who have been mistreated, people who are hungry and or thirsty for power, or to be on top of somebody, to intimidate, manipulate, bully, if you will. And that's how abuse kind of gets out of control.
I like that.
But then they also, a lot of people think, well, I'm being strong. And I think the word strong is taken out of context a lot on different platforms. It could be a parent telling you, well, be strong, you can handle it. It's just going to be for a little while, depending on what they went through. Or you're telling yourself, well, I'm going to be strong for my kids, and I want them to see a strong Black woman. And then, like you say, the people in the church, they're telling you the same thing, because it's a marriage. You don't want to just walk away. This is not what we do as Christians. But there is a breaking point. And there's a point where you have to come to yourself, make up in your mind, but this is not what you want.
Charlotte said yes, because did you see that lady that Tokyo Tony tried to help from being abused, and she was going to leave, but ended up turning on Tokyo Tony.
And that's what happens a lot. When we get involved, when people on the outside get involved in those relationships, the people that are actually in the relationship will turn on you.
They will.
That's why you can't see. You fool around and get mad at somebody that's beating on somebody. You mad at him or her, whatever the case may be. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Then you still mad, and they done got back together.
And listen, my mom says it all the time.
That's what my mama say too. Stay out of people's business.
Yeah,
because you'll be mad, and they'll have gone on, and they have
gone on down in the sunset, and you walking around. Yep, so true.
Good evening, Stella. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Tam says, I know pastors who told women to stay and pray, and it ended horribly.
And again, that's education. Like, but again, now because we're so quick to say what we don't like, but sometimes we have to step back and look at it. Again, that's based off of misinformation, miseducation, not interpreting the Bible correctly, right? So what happens when you have a people doing their own thing? Listen, my mom used to say ain't nothing new under the sun, and it's so true, because the same thing went on back in biblical days. Misinformation, misinterpretation, people doing their own things, right? And now we're doing the same thing even still and today. So it's no different. We have to slow down and actually get an understanding.
If you come to me battered and bruised and black-eyed,
I agree.
I'm not telling you to stay.
I agree. But you have to remember, you can't say run either. But you can't say run either, because you have to remember, again, you're dealing with someone's emotional well-being, their emotional status, or where they are in life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So here we go again. There are layers. What are they
all kinds
of feeling? What have they grown up in? It's a whole conversation, because you've got to, like Tam said earlier, after I said what I said, you've got to cause an awakening to happen. If you don't, look what happened to Tina Turner. We're talking about Tina Turner. How long did Tina Turner stay with Ike before one day her light bulb, she had a whole aha moment, and she was like, wait a minute, I don't have to take this no more. It's enough down on the inside of me to fight back, and I'm going to fight you back. And then I'm taking my stuff and I'm out of here. And I'm able to look at her. She was so powerful in and of herself once she realized who she was, that she went on to be great. And we never heard about Ike like that again, to the magnitude that we heard about Tina.
But she learned it on her own. It wasn't because somebody pressed her.
She came to that on her own.
On her own.
Yeah. I just hate to see anybody being abused like that. Listen, one thing I do know, you have to be tired.
You gotta be tired.
That's right.
Because you're not doing this until you're tired.
Yep. She had actually got exhausted once before, but who told her to stay? Her mother.
And remember, even in the movie, her best friend was talking to her too. Kept trying to get her.
She had been working on it.
Yeah. So that's a story all in itself. If you want out, I don't think you're gonna get out unless you're tired.
Yeah.
Unless you're tired. It was in that limousine when she had on that white suit.
Yeah. And she got tired.
She tired.
Said, oh no.
Yeah.
She had enough.
Yeah. True.
Mrs.
I mean,
Fallon
here's
Anderson
another one. I'm thinking about Fallon. I'm thinking about Al Green. His wife,
oh Lord,
he got his little nickname Al Grits, right?
She got a little tired too.
Madea said, "Cook, I got some hot grits on the stove."
Drop them hot grits on old boy,
baby. She was a player,
and they hot. So,
who you play grit ball?
Play a little grit ball, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Hey, look. The mamas have done it for a while. That's true. But, you have to make up your own mind, your own decision. And the most importantly, it will show that, I mean, when you're ready to leave, it's really, really just going to take you getting tired. And Nancy said it best earlier, when you recognize and realize your own worth.
Yeah.
And you have to come to your senses.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't have to take this. And you don't.
You don't.
You don't have to.
And a lot of times it starts at home. A lot of times it starts, when I say home, I'm talking about
your
growing up in the household that you're in.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Yep, it's foundational. It's from your parents. It's what your parents put in you. What your father puts in you, what your mother puts in you. And that's why our roles as parents is so important in the lives of children and their foundation. That's one thing I love about my babies, and one thing I preach to my parents. It's not about when they turn 10 and 11, 8, 9, 10, because by then you have lost them.
It's over.
It is from birth to age 5 years old. You build a foundation right then and there. I don't care what nobody says. I'll fight about it. I'll argue about it. I'll scream about it. The foundation is built and laid, and it is reinforced after 5 years old.
That's right.
Now ask me about it. I'm telling you, you build a foundation, how to do their homework, what type of behaviors to have in school, what type of behaviors to have in social settings, how to communicate. Those behaviors are taught from 0 to 5. It bothers me when parents won't even take their children out to restaurants saying, well, they don't know how to act. Well, if you expose them, if you expose them, then they will. You don't wait until they're 10, 11, 12 years old to go to a restaurant to teach them how to act so that they know how to place an order for a meal or something. Absolutely not.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before you expose them, teach them at home.
Teach them. Yeah.
It's all a teaching process.
It's all a teaching process.
They sitting at the table at home, yes, but they don't know how to order. So we're gonna take you to the restaurant,
and I'm gonna show you.
We're gonna socialize.
We're gonna use when we go out to banquet. Right. You're gonna know how to eat from the outside in, not like from the inside, just grabbing anything.
However you want to.
Come on, we're gonna give you a little etiquette. We're gonna teach you a little something right here.
Yeah, so don't put your elbows on that table.
Listen, don't smack. Chew with your mouth closed.
Hey,
and I'm gonna teach you more than about that $5 tip, because we as a people gotta I know how to step on somebody's toes.
Thank you for tuning in. We're here every Monday night at 7 p.m.
It's a lot to learn going out.
We gotta stop that $5 tip. That $5 tip is dead. Y'all, that $5 tip, that's dead. You can't run that waitress back and forth to the table and you want to leave $5. Absolutely
no, that ain't gonna work.
Listen,
not at all.
Dr. Linda talked about that again yesterday, that tipping thing. And one thing she said, you know how God see everything else? He see your tip too.
Yes, he do.
Don't y'all stop being cheap with these waiters and waitresses.
You better. Amen, Charlotte. 20%
or better.
Look, where they get their money from.
Crystal, or don't sit at my table.
Please move.
Listen. You can't sit with us.
Don't sit at my table. And I'm not even talking about the waitress or nobody. I'm talking about my table.
Yeah.
But that's their livelihood.
At my table.
Or their livelihood. That little $2 an hour that they making ain't paying no bills.
Period.
So take that into consideration.
Prime example to my viewers. We had a little dine out session this past Saturday, just a couple of days ago, for Mark Stennis's birthday. We went out and everybody was having a great time. The bill came, and we typically, my crew, we typically do 20%, sometimes more. So when it was time to pay the bill, it was like, okay, we got too much money here. Even including the tip, we had too much money.
Yeah.
Like, yes, change? No, I ain't got
but we had hit the 20% mark first. Say that part.
Oh, of course, we was already. Yeah, that's fact.
We got the 20%.
We were already there.
Right.
But we said, you know what? Let's give it to her. She good. Give it to her. So we gave her way more than 20%.
Yep. And we all agreed at the table. Everybody was like, yeah, just go and give it to her.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a part of sowing seed.
It is.
It's a part of sowing seed. And
foundation and teaching our children or us, whomever, starts from 0 to 5, and then we reinforce from 5 on up.
Yep.
Those behaviors.
Absolutely.
And that takes us right into our topic.
That does, actually.
You hear what I'm saying? Crystal, you stopped me. I was getting ready to say, and on that note, on that note,
nice segue.
Let's go back. Charlotte says, my sister was a waitress, and I always treat the waitress or waiter as if I'm tipping her. Now, I like that. I like that. That's great.
Yeah. Because once you've experienced something, you are very cognizant of it.
Yeah.
Kiera and I, a few years ago, like Charlotte saying, I was a hostess at a TGI Fridays just for Christmas to get a little extra Christmas money. And Kiera was actually a waitress. And I listen, the horror stories, the waitresses and all that stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like Y'all, it's sad. When we walk in, they're like, don't give them my table. Don't give them my table. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so used to that $5. But when you're able, and then we run them back and forth. Can I get some more pop? Can I get a straw? Can I get ketchup? Can I get this? Can I get that? But we need to learn how to tip at the same level that we would want to be tipped.
That's right.
Especially after working that hard.
And you take consideration where you're going to eat. You're not going to a 5-star restaurant and leaving a 2-star tip.
Right.
You're not doing that.
That's good.
The nephew is on. He says, as a bartender for over 14 years, I agree.
Hey, nephew.
So there you go.
There you go.
There you go. They deserve it, especially if they give good service.
Exactly. Definitely.
They give good service. And then, like you said, we run them folks back and forth.
Back and forth.
So, hey.
And be considerate of that, too. I try to be considerate of that, too. When I get my meal, if I'm missing some things, I need this, and this. So you don't have to run back and forth. Or when you go back, can you bring me this? Because all that back and forth running,
that's a lot.
Yeah. Hey, mama. How you doing?
Hey, mama.
Hey.
And that's true. The waiters and waitresses, oftentimes, they split all the tips between them.
Yeah.
So it matters how we tip.
Yeah.
And try to make it a point to give them cash because they get taxed when you put that on your card.
That's true.
So try to give them cash if you can.
Yeah. You all were saying, especially Dr. Nancy was saying that, it starts when they're young, from birth to 5. It's that foundation that they receive at home. You train them, you teach them. And they grow, and it's embedded in them. It's instilled in them.
Yep.
And tonight, while we're talking about children and raising and parenting and all this other kind of stuff, we wanted to touch on. Good evening, Deb. How you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody that's watching, thank you. Everybody that's listening on Spotify, thank you. We appreciate you. Blended families.
Now, y'all share now. This is a good time for y'all to share now. We had all
the you might want to share this right about
now. Getting into the meat right now.
If you haven't shared, you might want to do that right up into here.
Right now.
Blended families, or as they were formerly called, step families. Okay? So you got a stepmama, stepdaddy, which sometimes gives you stepsisters and stepbrothers and all that stepping stuff.
Steps.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
We can run into some issues when mother or father divorce, if they were married, or if they just single and just spreading seed everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Like step sisters and all of that. But the step families, blended families. The Brady Bunch was the first blended family that I knew of. Yeah. Because the father had 3 kids. And the mother had 3 kids. And they came together.
Yeah. And met this lovely lady. And they knew it's much more family than the crew.
I couldn't remember the lyrics. I'm sorry.
From our former family. That's the way they all became the Brady Bunch.
And it was just a little perfect little family.
They were.
They made it look that way. They made it look that way.
Yeah. It looked that way.
You did. And Marsha got on everybody's nerves.
Baby.
Marsha.
Ooh.
She did. And
okay, come on.
Everything. My mama used to say, everything that glitters
ain't gold.
Always gold.
Huh?
Yeah, we know that cliche.
So in our society today, we have celebrities now coming together with already got kids over here, already got kids over here. And sometimes y'all, and most of the time I would like to think that it's just not the Brady Bunch.
Right.
We got problems with some blended families. And
oh yes.
if you already have a blended family, or to my viewers, if you are thinking about blending your family with your partner's family, it can be wise to consider the problems you could run into.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, after all, it's natural to want to make sure that your family is healthy, happy, a strong, cohesive unit, right?
Yes.
So going into the situation feeling prepared can set you and your family members up for success and help you solve issues that may come up on the way. So what should you know?
My Lord.
What are other blended families facing, and how you can prevent those problems from affecting your own family? So we're going to talk about that tonight, and I want to present my first question to you, my viewers, as well as my co-host. Question number one: how important is it to have a relationship with the other biological parent, to the step parent? How important is it for the step parent to have a relationship with the biological parent? Now, I'm going to immediately throw this to Dr. Nancy.
No, you're not.
Because you have a blended family. My brother has children, had kids. When you all got married, you had kids, and it came together, blended family. How important is it to have a relationship with that biological parent?
Let me just say this. I had a blended family as well. Don't send me off. I had a blended family as well.
Come on, best friend. Pull me on out. Go ahead.
I mean, I had a great relationship.
Come on there.
With my stepdaughter's mom. We built a relationship. There was never animosity. I would talk to her on the phone. We would come together in regards to what we thought should go on with her daughter. And how to blend my daughter with her daughter, because this is new to my child as well. Even though she knows she has a sister, there are some things that you all need to lay down and say, this is how we're going to parent the four of us, because she had a husband as well. So you can't just come in and think, well, I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to follow the rules here. This is how it's going to be. You have to build a relationship with that child so that they trust you. So I think it's important to have a relationship with the other parent.
I am a stepmom 2 times over, or a mom 2 times over. I hate to use the word step, especially where it comes to my stepchildren. And for the sake of conversation, my stepchildren, because to them, I am their mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, I think that now I'll say it was not easy in the beginning. You have to have a level of maturity and understand that you all have to be on the same page for the sake of the children. It can be detrimental if you are not on the same page. And again, if there's not a level of maturity. Crystal is so right. I did witness that. Her and her other daughter's mom were able to build a relationship and talk about what was going on or what wouldn't go on. And that was great. So my biggest thing is, it's very important that all parents get along, biological and outside parents. But it's also important that there's a level of maturity that goes along with that, and us saying we need to do, or we have to do, what's in the best interest of the children.
That's right.
Deborah said it's important that all adults work as a unit. If that's possible, we as the adults have to set the atmosphere. I totally agree with that. Kimmy says it's very important because you all need an understanding concerning the kids. A relationship definitely needs to be established for things to move forward. I'm going to agree with both of you ladies here, as well as our viewers. I agree with all of you all. In order for your children to mesh well, especially if you have, siblings like, Crystal was talking about, she got a daughter and there was another daughter on the other side. In order for them to mesh well, it's important for both parents or both sets of parents, I think, to present a strong, united front.
That's right.
I think that's necessary. You can make firm decisions together about how to raise the children and what to do if they misbehave. If you decide that you're only going to be the one responsible, and that's really, I want to get to that. If you're going to only be the one responsible for disciplining the child, or is he or she going to do it, or we going to do it together, and that's really, that's why we titled this Blended Families and Discipline, because after all this coming together and putting on a united front and all that kind of stuff, at some point, discipline is going to have to come into play.
That's right.
So I posed a question on Facebook about disciplining and the step family or blended family, whatever. And in the question, there were options. You could choose who gets to discipline the child, the stepchild, or whatever you want to call it. And it was the biological parent only. It was the step parent if the biological parent agrees. And I forgot what the other option was, but nobody chose that option. 75% of the vote that came in said that, either one can discipline this child. And I want to know what you guys, especially our viewers, what you think about that, because now you can look at this two ways. You could possibly have, that's why it's important to communicate before all this coming together happen, because you could possibly have a biological parent who feels like, this is my child, you're not going to tell them what to do. You're not going to discipline them. That's a possibility. So that's something you might want to take a look at. And then, well, I'll get to that because that's my last question tonight. But I want to ask you guys, shouldn't it be okay for the step parent to discipline the child, or should it not be?
I think that and we teach our kids this from the beginning, there's a certain level of respect that needs to be in place in order for a child to accept what's coming to them. So even if that parent, you all haven't made the decision that this parent is going to go ahead and discipline the child, verbal, physical, whatever you're doing, there still needs to be a level of respect between that child and that adult, where if I do tell you something, you should be able to say, okay, I can do that. That's the basics. You will be doing that with people in the street, your teachers, your grandparents. You will be doing that anyway.
One would hope.
We would hope, but that again comes from the rearing.
Yes.
Let's talk about our kids.
Okay. All right. Right.
So when it comes to the discipline, I do think that at some point you and the bonus mom or bonus dad and the biological parent should come together and say, this is what we're agreeing upon. This is what I feel like your role is. I feel like my role is this, because everybody plays a different role. It's layers from what you can learn from another parent or from your village, as we would call it.
I agree. I think that, again, it's important when adults get together that they know who they're getting with. Now, if it's a pedophile or a child abuser or someone who doesn't even know how to discipline, that's different. But again, if we have a relationship, if we've built a relationship, we've forged a relationship, we've talked about it, then again, I'm one that is open to, and that's how I was raised. So it's really, honestly, I don't know any other way. I was raised to respect my elders, and if one of them told me to get somewhere to sit down, to go sit down, I didn't back talk. And if I did, I knew if they went to my mom and said something, I knew my mom was coming down on me too. So I didn't know any other way. And my children, my 3 biological children, are the same way. They're not going to be sassy. They're not going to be disrespectful. And if they do, if you have a problem with them, now that they're grown, if you have a problem with them and you come to me, I'm going to say, okay, well, you need to talk to them and get it straight. Now I'll oversee it or mediate it and make sure But even as such, even when they were growing up, it was never that I was like, oh no, Crystal, you can't. If my children went to Crystal's house, Crystal had all rights and privileges to treat my children the same way she treated her children. And if she did not, then my children, it was said, my children won't be back. So if you're disciplining Essence and Tommy, you had sure better discipline Demetrius, William, and Kiara. If you're not, and you waiting on me to get there, they can't come back no more.
Well, if they all at my house, ain't nobody getting disciplined. But anyway, we're gonna move on.
Lord, girl, please.
You're gonna have a good time. We have a good time.
Val says, how do you deal with adults acting a fool because their parent has taken up love with another? I need a little bit more clarity on that.
That's what I was saying too.
I think what she's saying is me and a significant other break up. He decides, okay, I'm now going to date somebody else.
Okay,
well, I want you to be with me. So now the child is taken out of the scenario. This is now about you and him. You're mad at him. So now you're going to block or cause issues. Well, what you hit my child for? If she hit my child, I'm going to call the police. So I'm going to come over there.
I see.
Yeah. I got that.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a toxic situation.
It
really is. And again, it goes back to, Val, a level of maturity and all adults now understanding this ain't about me, it's about my child, because that's really where it's coming to. Is you all have to get along. Okay, mom and daddy didn't work out, and they went over there with Sally or Jim. Now Sally, Jim, and I, we want to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah,
because my child is involved, and my child has to come over there. So we need to have some ground rules. So again, it's a level of maturity and being able to, establish some boundaries and parameters, if you will, for the child. And it can be hard because you got to remember emotions and feelings are tied up in there too, as it relates to the adults. So that can be a little tricky, and that can take some time.
Deborah said, when there has been a solid foundation formed, all adults disciplined as a unit. Communication is key.
Is a key.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cherie McGee is on here. Hey, tell your husband I said, hey, Val, tell Rob I said what's up too. How is it, Cherie says, that someone can't trust another with their child, but they lay down with them every night? Well,
I mean, I was asking that.
Okay.
People separate that in their mind. People separate that in their mind.
Yeah. People, right.
They immediately, but then that goes back to,
and I'm just taking care of my need.
Yeah,
I'm taking care, and I'm not thinking about my, I'm saying, I'm just taking care of me. So
there's a lack of trust between you and your child if you're doing that, because now you're telling the child, go in your room, I'm busy, go do this, he can come over here. So there's a breakdown in the relationship between you and the child as well
already, and that's not going to work.
Dr. Kermita is on. Thank you for joining in with us again tonight. Kimmy says, my children were older when I got married. Therefore, I disciplined them, but they were able to be corrected. That's what we're getting at tonight. So Charlotte says, coming from the child's perspective, my mom only disciplined me. My dad had never disciplined me, nor his wife. Now one of my dad's fiancés tried to do my hair. My mama called my dad and handled the situation, and it never happened again.
And see,
that's a little shaky too. That's a little shaky. Because if she comes over and her hair is done, let's say she coming on for a week, I'm not going to let her go out this house and she's looking a mess. That's another argument. That's another argument.
Then that means now, okay, honey. Then your daughter can't go out with me. I was going to take her out on a date or whatever. We're going to go out and go shopping. But because her hair ain't come, she can't go. And then guess what happens now? Now that
you don't want to take my daughter nowhere
in the household. And guess what we're not having?
The child ends up resenting you.
Yep. So for me, that's a red flag. That's a no.
So back to maturity, like Dr. Nancy said, and communication.
Because my daughter should have never come over there needing a hair comb.
Right. You should have got it braided. I don't know it's here.
Now, another thing
hair. She just wanted to do a girl hair. She had boys.
Oh, okay.
That's different. That's different now. That's different.
She needed a little practice. Okay.
And another thing we can take a look at too in this case is that I can't remember who it was, but you have sometimes situations where the biological parent favors their child over the stepchild, and it's noticeable.
And again, that's something. Listen, we're not just saying I do. Hopefully, right away with these children involved. That's something that we all need to take notice of and pay attention to prior to the "Will you marry me?" into the "Yes, I will" or the "Yeah, I do." Or yes, or whatever you want to, however you want to put it. That's something we need to take into consideration. We need to watch how they are with their children. We need to watch how they are with our children outside of their children. Then we need to watch how they are with our children and their children all together. It needs to be watched. And that's not something that can just happen in a week's time or 2 weeks' time. That's time.
That takes time.
Yeah.
And it's cute because you're taking a little bit, you're not just bringing your kids to meet whomever you're dating, you're setting a base. You're getting a foundation built. Then you say, okay, I trust you enough. I'll bring my child around you. Then he or she brings their child around you. Those two children then come together. You see what the interaction is there, and you can watch. What's the interaction between the parents?
You have to.
So you said you talked about the foundation and the base, Crystal, which leads me to my second question. How important, or should I say, how do you set up a base level of respect from the child to the step parent?
Then once the adults have it, then you have to include, now it's time for another conversation where we have to bring the children in and let the children know, okay, we're all on the same page. This is what we're agreeing to and what we're saying we won't allow to happen. We're one family. And again, this is with a level of maturity and being able to communicate with your children how it's going to be. And then once you all begin to move forward, then you've got to pay attention now and stick to your guns. My mother used to hate the whole I'm going. So it's not I'm going to get you next time. No, whatever you all have agreed to, follow through with it. All parents have to follow through. And then when the child plays one against the other, because they will try it, then again, we have to have that force field up where we say, okay, no, Crystal told me that you were over there doing this, and the other. And because of that, she said no iPad, so it's no iPad here either. Or she said no television, or whatever the case may be, it's the same way over here, and vice versa. So the parents have all got to agree, communicate, and nip it at a bud so that the children will then fall in line too. Like, dang, all right, well, I did it over there, but now that I got over here, she ain't gonna let me do it over here either. So now I know they're not playing games and they're all serious about what they're saying they're gonna do.
Well, see, I have a 12-year-old, so in any circumstance, there's going to be a step parent. Okay. But I try to talk to him in levels. Hey, how do you feel if I start dating? And he's like a little old man. So for him, he's like, okay, I'll have to sit down and talk to him. I have to see where his head is at. What, what's going on with him. And then I'll know. And then me and you could talk and I'll give my opinion and then you give yours and then you go from there. And then if it moves to that and I'm actually dating somebody, then we move to the next stage. Hey, this is an adult. This is how we're going to act. This is how we're going to treat him. If it's something you don't like, come to me. And then I can address it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Charlotte says sounds like an episode from Bell Collective.
Yes, it does. You are absolutely right.
Cherie says playing favorites not only harms the unfavored child, but causes division between the children. Yep, that's true. Relationship issues all around because now the unfavored child, now he hates or not strong
dislikes.
Now he resents his stepbrother or stepsister.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Cain and Abel right here.
Right? And that's why there shouldn't be any unfavored children. And it's not just with the step, it can be even just in a normal or a standard household. So we as adults, we have to be
sorry.
Well, Melanie was adopted, so I don't,
Girl, goodbye.
The doctors didn't know what else to do with her.
Please.
My mom and dad decided they were going to go ahead and adopt her and bring her home. And
she's going to hear this.
I don't really care. She knows she was adopted. I told her time and time again.
Nancy.
Oh my
I
goodness.
told her time and time again, but again, no child should feel favored, whether they are biological or step. And we as parents have to be careful and mindful in doing that always. And then parents, adults can't set up those little seeds of discord either. Well, look how she doing him. She ain't doing you like that. Look how she doing her.
Wow,
That's 9 times out of 10 what happens. Is that it's not a parent actually favoring anybody.
It's the little seed.
Oh, well, you did this and you didn't do it for me. Well, that wasn't required for you. I did something else for you.
Or how about,
that did happen on the Bell Collective.
But you have joggers. Well, that's his style and that's his style.
Yeah.
Or she bought you Nikes and you have Vans. Okay, well, if your baby wear Vans all the time, or that's what they want, or they want Chuck Taylors. Mine like to wear Air Force Ones, and I'm just using this. I'm not saying necessarily mine grown and gone, y'all. They grown and gone. Hallelujah. But you know what I'm saying? So don't set up those seeds, because this one over here been wearing Air Force Ones. Yours been liking Chuck. So what we talking about here?
We was all in the same store.
Period.
You got what you wanted.
Right.
Yep.
Now this one is big right here. Sometimes children are often used as pawns in adults' childish games. My Lord. Deb says, I had a stepson and I never separated the children. He became my son, and we had a family meeting and we expressed what was expected, and it worked out fine. See, that's where communication comes in. That's where you establish that base level of respect from child to step parent. But when they use these children, you know what I hate? I hate when, side note, I hate when the parents get into it and there's a child involved, and one of the parents say, oh, I'm mad at you, so you can't see this child.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that irritates me to no end.
Either that or they're digging for information from the child, or you're trying to relay messages through the child. None of that is good.
Yeah, Charlotte said, I hate playing the favorites thing. It irks me. I feel like if you can't treat us equal, don't do nothing.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I'm sorry, because if it's 3 of you and one of them mine, I'm going to give mine $20, but I'm going to get the other 2 only $5. Nah, that ain't right.
That's not right.
That ain't right. You, all 3 of y'all getting 10.
Oh, ain't nobody getting 20?
No.
No. He changed his battle that quick. He said, "Go keep his change, Chris."
Right on down.
My niece Randy is on. Hey, little girl.
Hey,
love you so much.
Hey.
No, you got to treat them equal. I'm with Charlotte on that. You have to treat them all equal, because that will cause resentment in that child.
Yeah,
between the children.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But again, I want to hear what we're talking about right now. We're talking about how it affects the children, but we as adults need to understand that we have to mature in these areas. When we begin to blend our family, blended families are not easy.
They are hard.
Hear me again. They are not easy. They are exactly what it's saying. Blending families. So we're blending likes, dislikes, details. We're blending everything. We're blending, especially when there are children involved. The goal is to blend the family. So if I don't like you and you don't like me, I'm married to Willie Taylor. Willie Taylor married to me. We divorced. We don't want to be bothered with each other no more. I can't stand him. He can't stand me. Well, we got to figure out how to get over ourselves for the common interest and the common goal of our child. Now, I remarry. Willie's got to be man enough. And if he remarries, now I've got to be woman enough to say, okay, now to me, it's Willie's responsibility now to introduce me to this woman and have her to know who I am. It's my responsibility to introduce Willie to my husband and have him to know who he is. Now they need to have a conversation. And then she and I need to have a conversation. Conversations have got to be had before we bring these children into the mix. And if the conversations are not had and we bring the children into the mix, now we have ran amok. And it's hard to get the train back on the track at that moment in time.
Because the average person likes to, the average person don't like to communicate. They like to assume.
Yeah.
They like to assume, especially when it comes to that, because I'm no longer with him or I'm no longer with her. If I send my child over here, this is what it's gonna be, and my child is,
and that's all tied up, Crystal, in our own personal feelings and or emotions. Has nothing to do with the kids. It's tied up in me and you.
And that is the problem.
Yeah. It's tied up in the me and Willie game. Like, man, I'm mad with him. Our divorce was horrible.
But
I cheated on him. Raise this child. On me. We couldn't agree on money or whatever the case may be that tore us apart, and we still stuck right there. We ain't thought nothing about the child.
Right.
Nothing. You still got to raise this child, though.
Kimmy says, I know of a situation where the father got married and the kids found out after the fact while visiting him out of town. Let's just say this was a recipe for disaster, and I bet you it was.
Yeah, because now the kids.
We're talking about respect for from the child to the parent. Let me just say this: the parents ought to respect their children too.
And
respect them, especially if they're of a certain age. Respect them enough to say, "Hey, son, hey, daughter, this is what's happening. I got this other person
this
now.
You're
gonna be coming to the house. So you need to know,
and even ask them, what do you think about them?
That's
what do you think about them? Come on, let's.
Well, I like
and
what Crystal said.
Me and Willie gonna go out and take the kid and say, "Honey, what do you think about him?" No, Willie, you staying at home. I'm taking my child. And we finna go out because now my child has to be able to be blended in. So now let's talk. What do you think about him? You spend some time with him. You've seen him. How do you feel? Do you like him? Don't you like him? What don't you like about him? What do you like about him? You want to get to know him more? Can we spend some time? Period. Like let's include him. You have to.
Cherie says, and then add the sex before adding the kids. Ain't nobody thinking clearly.
Ain't nobody thinking about no kids.
Period. That's why I said families, a lot of times the children are even considered. The adults are too busy considering themselves, handling themselves, that they ain't even thought about these kids. And then the kids come in and everything is already done. And like we just said earlier, it's a recipe for disaster in so many different ways.
Always glad to see Tammy on. She says the child would more side with their biological parent, and now there are more problems because resentment could be with the step parents.
True.
There it is.
True.
But see, that's part of the base. When you meet that person, hey, I have 2 children. Do you have any children? How do you feel about dating someone with children? Because that's at the top of the priority list. Is my kids, because if my kids don't feel respected, they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel safe, me and you are done.
Because even like Tammy said, the children are going to do what children do, and what we just naturally do. We're going to young children especially are going to tend to side with the biological parent over the step parent. So again, that's why I say we as adults, we have to mature. I love you more. I'm your dad. I'm your mom. She's not. He's not. Remember, no, because guess what? When you see your child over there, I don't care which way you believe it or not. Those 2 people that's over there in that other house, they're somehow or another way involved with your child.
That's right.
Okay? Whether it's a meal, a bath, a hair comb, a ball, a toothbrush, some toothpaste, they're involved somehow or another.
Absolutely. I think that I can talk about myself. I was a blessed child because my biological father passed away when I was 9. And then came Chambers. And many people do not know that Chambers was not my biological father. Because somehow we kind of look alike, and to see us together, he never treated me like his stepchild.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Ever. I was his baby boy, and he was my daddy. That was it.
That's awesome.
So I think that it is extremely important that parents, the biological parents and the both sets, however that fits, make it, if at all possible, make it easier for yourself and for the child by simply communicating.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as that, and it's okay. You got to even have boundaries in this. Yeah. This is what I'm going to allow. This is what we're not allowing.
That's right.
Yeah. Tammy's talking about that right now.
I'm talking about from parent to parent now.
Yep. Yep.
This is what I'm allowing,
and this is what I'm
this is off limit.
Yep.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because while we're building that base level of respect from child to parent, you two parents have to make sure y'all on the same page and respect each other too, as well as
you have to
the other biological parent. Mm-hmm. And we know sometimes they can be stupid. I shouldn't say that. They can act a fool. That sounds a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll leave that right there.
Okay.
Okay. Look, my mama said if you feed a person long enough, they begin to look like you. That's why I look like my daddy.
That's too funny.
All right. Tammy said, I was at work one night. Maddie got smart and loud with Marco to the point where he called me and was upset about it. I left work.
She did.
And handled that and went back to work. No, ma'am, little lady. Ooh.
She did. She did.
I would not have wanted to be Maddie that night.
Not that night.
She did. She did it too. Yeah.
Not that night. No.
Yeah.
So I want to move to my last question. And this one, I think we kind of touched on it just a tad earlier, but I want to hear from everybody, my co-hosts and those of you that are watching. Is it ever okay for a child to say, "You ain't my mom, you ain't my dad, you can't tell me what to do"? See, these are the type of problems that you don't see in the Brady Bunch, huh?
Some children will test you. They're gonna test
absolutely.
You. Now, and I remember an episode. Steve Harvey made a comment about that as well. His wife's son, he had been trying to show him how to be a man, give him some pointers on growing up and things like that. And he said that to him, "You ain't my daddy." He said, "Well, where is he at?"
Listen.
Where's he at? Because he could come and handle it. But as long as you live in my household, this is my house. You got to act like you a Harvey. And then I'm not saying disregard your father. I've never said that to you. However, I got rules and regulations over here too. Now, if you want your daddy, you can go find him and go be where he at.
Well, they're going to answer right there.
Well.
he never had a problem out of him again, as far as the respect level. But as he got older and he looked at some of the things that he was teaching him and showing him and how to mature as a man, he thanked him. Because his father just didn't do that.
There's your answer.
Who's this? Okay, well, mom said absolutely not. That's not okay. You don't get to say that.
There's your answer.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. What Steve Harvey said. Where he at?
Where he at?
Okay.
I can take you
to him. Drop that mic. We done. We're done talking now. Okay. Because he ain't here. I'm here.
You gotta nip it in the bud.
Everything goes back to that base level of respect. Everything. So to the step parents, please know that you're just as important. You don't have to be somebody's biological parent to be their mother, their father. You are just as important as the biological parent. I think that and we can't stress this enough, it is important, extremely important for all adults involved to have some conversations. Period. Because if you want to see a child disrespectful, let them watch all these adults be disrespectful to each other.
Yep.
You can't expect that child to be respectful when they see you being disrespectful to their mama or their daddy.
That's right.
Because now, if the child turns around, and not that it's okay, because it's not, but if the child turns around and disrespects your other half, his now stepmom or stepdad, now you got a problem with the child. But the child sees you disrespecting his biological mom or father.
They're following an example.
There you go. So have the conversations that you need to have. Lay the foundation. We talked about that a little bit ago. This is what's okay. This is what's not okay. And what's not okay in any relationship is disrespect.
That's right.
It's not okay. Let me tell you something right now. You don't have to like me. But if we got a child together, you're going to like me enough to get things done for this child.
That's right.
Period. Because I ain't got to come on to you no more.
Thank God.
So do what you have to do.
That should be your incentive right there. He don't live here, baby. He don't live here.
For the sake of that child. I know many people with blended families, and it seems to be, on the outside looking in, it seems to be a wonderful thing. I love to see it. But we all know that sometimes things can go awry. But when you snuff that thing out real quick and fast and put your foot down,
it can work.
It can work.
Listen, that's what I'm talking about. Be serious about it. Be serious, be direct, be serious. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want the child, you don't want to cause that child to resent either of you, whether biological or step.
Yes.
Blended families are families. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Life does, or as they say, life be lifing. And sometimes you will end up with a blended family. And what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing's wrong with that. But be man enough, woman enough to have the conversations that need to be had before you present all of this stuff to that child. Because rest assured, all these children are not just going to be like, oh, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Nuh-uh. It ain't that easy. It's not going to be that easy. They're going to have questions. And answer their questions if they have them.
Yep.
Please do, by all means, answer those children's questions. Be upfront, be honest, and answer them. Let them know what they want to know. Let them know what they need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So that's all I got for tonight. That's all we have for tonight. It was a great conversation. I hope that you have enjoyed.
As always.
Tonight. I'm sorry.
I said it was a great conversation as always.
I'm so happy to have new viewers on tonight. My niece checked in tonight. Somebody, who else was new tonight? Cherie been on here before. My niece is on, Val is on, Cherie is on. All of you guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. Again, we appreciate your support every week that we come on. We enjoy doing what we do. And we certainly want to bring and continue to bring, good night, Mama.
Good night.
Topics that are relevant, that will help you every day in your life. We don't come on here just to talk because we ain't got nothing better to do. Because I got a lot of stuff I could be doing. But we enjoy helping you out and talking with you guys and having these real life discussions. This is the Self-Checkout Show, where we take an honest look at what's in our hearts, minds, and spirits. And next week, we may even come back for a few to see what y'all eat.
Yeah.
See what y'all.
Show y'all our burnt hot dog.
Yes, Lord.
Because if the hot dog ain't burnt,
we don't want it.
We don't want it.
It ain't right.
It ain't right.
I want, of course, next week is the 4th of July, next Tuesday, which is funny. It's 5 days before my birthday.
Well, look at that.
And mine.
Oh, well, Okay.
Pray.
Yeah, I'm just going. I'm gonna let that go.
Y'all ain't praying. Y'all ain't praying.
Just not hard enough. Not hard enough. No, but listen, next week, the 4th of July falls on a Tuesday. I want you guys to celebrate, enjoy your friends, enjoy whatever you do. Be careful.
Yeah.
And be safe. Okay. Yeah. We'll give you that message again next Monday night. We're going to try to all get together. We're going to try to get together next
and fireworks and the music.
And your top 5.
And your top 5.
Burnt hot dogs. That's what we want. That's what we want to talk about next week. That's it. We want to know what you eat, if you like your hot dogs burnt, and we want to know who your top 5 singers are. We'll talk about it all next week. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you next week on the show. See you guys.
Bye. Bye.